Hello, and welcome to another episode of Sisters in Christ. I have with me Monica, Maria, and Marina. Today we'll be speaking about the topic of how to thrive in a season of waiting. And can we just all talk honestly about moments and seasons of waiting? We've all been through it, and it's not fun, it's not graceful, and it could be a frustrating experience. So I don't want the viewers on the other side of the screen to think that we're sitting here and we're talking because we've mastered it and we've got it all together. Because we all have our battles. We all go through our storms. We are all in and out of seasons of waiting. And I myself, broken and messy, and I'm in need of God's grace every day. So I personally show little to no patience when it comes to waiting. Little patience with my family, my friends, myself, God. And maybe it's part of the whole instant gratification world that we live in. If I want something, I feel like I'm in control of getting it. If I'm hungry, I could get Uber Eats. If I want to order something, we all go to Amazon. If I want to see something, watch something, I could get it on demand. I could get whatever you want. There's no waiting. And this is what the world teaches us. You want it, go get it. Just do it. Like the Nike slogan. So, and actually, if you even think about it, we're always in a waiting season. When we're in high school, we're looking forward to graduation and we want to get to college. Then we get to college, we want to start planning our careers. Then we get that. And then we're looking for a job. Then we're looking for a promotion. Then we're looking for a relationship. Then we're looking to buy a house. Then we're looking for a family. Then we're looking to have children. Then we're looking at our health. And we make these little promises with ourselves that once we get this, I'll be so content. Once I get the job, that's it, I'm set. I don't want anything else. But in reality, it's all short-term, temporary gratifications, which only leads us to the next waiting season. But then once we get to that, we're on the edge and twirling our thumbs because we're trying to rush that season too, to just get to the destination. But there's a journey in everything. So I'm gonna open it up to you guys. So how would you describe yourself in a waiting season?
Oh, my knee would be bouncing, my legs shaking. I can't sit still. I feel I'm similar to you. I don't have the patience and I can't just sit there. I feel okay, well, it's not coming, so maybe I can do something else to make it come faster. And I'm just I can't wait.
Right. So we try to rush. We're always in rushing that waiting season.
Right. Yeah, I'm the same way. And even in little things, not even if you look at the big scheme of things, if I have a thought, instead of waiting, there are many times I should be waiting to let's say send a text or make a phone call or anything small, day to day. I'm very, very impatient and I'll just do it right then and there. And I'll be I'm sorry, I know this is bad timing. So I know I'm making a mistake.
Right.
I know that. But I'm I'm sorry, bad timing, but this is on my mind right now. So it's it's kind of selfish, but yeah, I'm the same way.
I try to I think as you guys said, I try to take things into my own hands and try to solve it. And then when that doesn't work, any little thing bothers me where it's just and I start complaining and I'm just okay, I really don't know what to do. So then I'm forced to have to wait and be patient. So then I think those who I surround myself with really help me during that time where it's they can ground me and tell me hey, they can be the hope when I'm not sure what's gonna happen. But definitely I'm like you where I'm impatient, then I'll complain and the littlest thing will just be no, I can actually control this. So yeah.
So I'm sure we've all heard this where we start talking to people and we're in a waiting season and they tell us God's never late, he's always on time, and it's truth, but it's really not what I want to hear. He made time, he is time, he's infinite in wisdom, he got you. And David, even the psalmist says, be strong and courageous, wait on the Lord. So he's telling us I understand patience, but be strong, be courageous, wait. In Lamentations 3:25, it says, "The Lord is good to those who wait for him, to the soul who seeks him. in Isaiah, it says like his ways are higher than our ways. His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. And there's another verse like those who wait patiently. It's like over and over. It's the complete opposite of like what the world is telling us, like teaching us that impatience, but like rather the delight is actually in waiting patiently on the Lord, and he's going to renew your strength and you're going to run and not grow weary. But at the end of the day, people don't like waiting. So what do you do when God's voice is silent? How can I feel that like contentment, and how can I thrive when I'm in God's waiting room? I mean, sometimes one thing I like somebody like as like an advisor, he told me try to like make them like this is time that you have, and you don't always have, like that's one thing. You lose money, you can make up money. Mostly anything, you can like make up for it, but once time is lost, you can't get that back. So try to like take inventory of like the time that you're in and like use that time. But I mean, what are other ways like to like thrive in that season?
That's a tough question. I think this is going to sound a little cliche, or a lot cliche, but I think the more we immerse ourselves in God and like use our time with him and spend time with him, immerse ourselves in the word of God and just have that relationship with him, I think until we do that, we're not going to be content with our lives. And no matter, I mean, like, that goes for any situation, but really time is, like you said, you can't lose you can't gain back time.
Right.
Once it's lost, it's lost. So it's what am I going to do with that time to at least feel content in that moment? And the more we build that relationship, I think the more he will give us that feeling of contentment, and we won't be anxiously waiting for what's next, because it'll just be so natural coming from him and his grace.
I think it's like the silence that kills me though. Like not having like a response or like an outlet to like actually express and like know what's happening or what's being prepared. I feel like I'm such a type A personality where like I need to know like, okay, well, these are the next steps and this is our plan and this is where we're going next. And I feel like with God, we don't always get that because his ways are higher than our ways. And it's not for us to know all the things that he's like preparing, but we will know in the due time, right? So I feel like that silence is just like what makes me like, oh, maybe he wants me to do this. And then this will help this happen. And then this will make this happen. And it's just like going out of my way to like make things.
Force things
to
make
happen.
His will like align with
Right.
yours.
Because I feel like I can so overthink and be like, oh, I think this is what he wants for me. And then I'll go down that path and it's like, no, that was not the path that he wants for me.
And I think going off of that, like remembering the things that he has given you at certain times that you're like, oh, light bulb, like this is why this happened years later. When I was going to apply to grad schools, anyone that knows me knows I'm very attached to my Southern Diocese. I love the Southern Diocese, but I didn't end up there for grad school. And it was very, very, very clear from God, this is not the door, I'm closing the door on the diocese. And so I ended up moving away from home to a whole different state. And I didn't really discover why that move was made until my last month of dental school. And it was like, this is why. And now I've been here for the past 6 years and I'm still trying to figure out what the purpose is. But to help myself, I remember, well, I didn't discover this until this point, so maybe I'll figure it out
later. Yeah.
So I think remembering the times is helpful.
Hold that thought. We'll be right back with more on how to thrive in a waiting season. Welcome back. We're on the topic of how to thrive on seasons of waiting, and we mentioned before to try to take inventory of the time that time passes, and how to cherish certain moments that we're given. So how are other ways that we can use a season of waiting to be productive and to thrive and to feel that contentment, to kind of take away from the anxiousness and the impatience that if we're just so focused on the waiting, can lead us to that impatience and anxiousness?
I think we should feel whatever we need to feel at first and then try to focus on the blessings and yourself and what you can do for yourself. So for example, I'm kind of in this phase where last week is like my last week of work and I was on contract and I've been applying and nothing is like coming yet. So I'm in like this waiting season where it's like, okay, what's next? And I've done like everything I could. So for me, it's like spending time with family because we're in this season where like everyone's growing, everyone's like moving on. So it's like, am I really going to have this time with my family as much as I will now? So that's like very important for me. And like for me also working out is very important. That's something that like was slacking. So I was like, I can pick that up again as like a routine. So when that next phase does come, I can just continue that. And things like traveling where it's like, I'm not going to have that time and I haven't been able to travel in like a year or so. Like, let me take advantage of that. Things where it's like, and of course I had to feel whatever I needed to feel and it was unfair and all these things, but also like, what are the blessings that I have? Like I have more time now. I can like do things for myself and kind of just picking that up is it's hard, but it's important where it's like you can grow and prepare yourself during this time.
Yeah, that's excellent actually. So you're just actually being productive actually in that season. It's nice. So sometimes it can feel like everyone else though is on the next level and is on the next phase in life, is on the next thing, and while you're just stuck waiting. And so yes, okay, fine, I'll be patient, I'll be productive, but how can I still like remain feeling content in myself when you see that everyone else around you is winning and moving on, but you're just like, you feel like you're stuck. Like you feel like everyone's like life is going and like it's almost like as if it's like a race and everyone's moving, but I just passed the starting line. Like I'm still like a little turtle, like while everyone else is like running. So, and it's hard to feel that contentment because sometimes I'll be honest, like I do, yeah, like why is it happening to them and not to me? So how can we feel that contentment and be happy for others, but yet still feel that contentment amongst ourselves?
That's tough.
Yeah, that's such a hard question.
I personally struggle with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still in my training at this point in my life, and all my friends, everybody is done. Everybody has moved on with their lives, and I'm still kind of in like you said, like I'm like a turtle. I feel like I'm not moving.
Right.
And so I really, really, really struggle with this. And I guess what I try to do to help me is I try not to compare myself to where they are. Like I might have something that they might not have, and I'm being blessed in this way that they might not be blessed in. And I think that we all know the phrase, comparison is the thief of joy.
Right.
And I think it takes a lot to not compare ourselves to other people and where they are in life, in our lives, but it really does make a big difference. If I stop comparing myself to this person is at this point and this person is doing this, then you get to a point of contentment because you're not looking around you, you're not looking at what other people, where other people are in their lives.
Right.
And something I heard was like, happy people are not always thankful. It's the thankful people that are always happy. So it reminded me of what, yeah.
And I think like on top of the not comparing is also to look at how far you've come and like your accomplishments and keeping that always in perspective as well. But yeah, I feel like this is like the hardest part of just the season of waiting.
Yeah.
It's because I feel like we always tend to look around. Like that's our easiest thing and never look up or like straight on our path. So I feel like that is the hardest thing to do.
Sometimes like we mistaken, like it's not that your promise or your dream or your hope, it's not that it's a no, it's just that it's not yet. And I think that's something when you start, I mean, something that because I struggled with that. And I started to tell myself, well, if God is blessing them, God is working. So mine is just coming on the way. So in the meantime, there's a journey, and yeah, it might not be like now as they are, but he's preparing me. And you, like I tell myself, because the way that, you know, I become like an advocate for myself is I try to like talk like positivity to myself, is that the more the wait, like the blessing is going to really be, and sometimes because you wait longer for it, you appreciate it more when it comes. So whatever you're waiting for, if it's a job, if it's a promotion, if it's a house, if it's a relationship, you wait for a long time so you don't take, because sometimes as if things come easy, you feel like you could take it for granted. Like I didn't really have to wait for it, it just came to me.
I think it's also like when we're comparing to others, it's what we see on the outside. Like we don't also know what they're actually struggling with, or it might not be as glamorous as it seems. So I think that's also something to remember. I feel like, especially when we spoke about it in other episodes, like Instagram and like what people post or what people portray is not always how it might be. Like they might say like, oh wow, I got this amazing new job, but they actually like really hate their job and it's very toxic and they don't share that aspect of it. So also like putting that into perspective as well, I think is really important.
Yeah. And also like because you know I talked to like my father of confession advisor and like spiritual like guidance, and they also suggested like in order to like be able to get like the waiting off your mind is to try to like focus, like you said, on like, even though you said it sounded cliche, but like how to serve him better. Like how can I use this season to serve God and to serve others? Like take it off of me and like put it now on others. So I don't know if that's like something that can like help, because you start seeing what other people are going through. Like you visit other people, you become more involved with like society and like other people, that you take that focus off from just yourself. So I don't know if it's something that can help.
That sounds good.
Through my own season of waiting, I've learned to pray big and expect miracles, and believe that seasons of waiting are meant to prepare us for something truly amazing. Let's not just waste seasons of waiting as trying to get through it, but rather learning to thrive through it, and know that though we are waiting, heaven is still working. I hope you enjoyed our episode. Until next time, stay blessed.